Hello and welcome to Pirate Radio this evening, guys. I'm Greg, and joining me as usual is Cadus and Commander X. Luckily this week, I'm not as hungover as last week. I mean, I'm a little bit hungover, but I will be able to host this week, unlike Xavi, having to take over for me last week, which is all good. So welcome back to the show. Cadus, Xavi, had a good week?
Oh man, the best awesome. Of weeks.
Is it nice having good internet?
It was nice having good internet. Sadly, I'm now back in the land of, I don't even know what to describe it as, but just awful internet. But yeah, only a week to go.
Well, let's just get into everything. There's no point pissing about when there's so much news this week, so much. But let's get into the teams, the gossip, everything that's going on with that. Starting off with just Blast. They folded at the end of the season. They had a pretty strong roster, but I don't really know much about that individual, that team's decision to fold. Does anybody know much more about it?
I can't remember who it was, but two or three of them basically left for their own reasons, and the remainders just decided they couldn't be bothered to reform it, to get new people in. So they just split up and went their separate ways.
Okay, it's fair enough. Someone's PMing me asking to link channels in Mumble. You have to actually right-click and link it yourself, whoever made the channel. There we go. He can't even hear me, can he? Useful. Very useful.
How long have they been ignored them? They've been doing this every week.
Yeah. Can someone PM Ips and tell him? While we're doing that. So yeah, Blast, I think they had a really strong lineup, but just people decided not to keep it, which is fair enough. Some teams that end up going near the bottom of whatever division they were in and end up almost dropping to the division below, sometimes just decide to fold. But they have done, so it's a shame. They were, a pretty decent lineup. But let's just move on anyway. We talked about an exotic lineup last week. That's failed. I don't know what happened with that. Xavi, do you have any more info about that one?
No, I just heard
they didn't have the manager. They needed to see him through.
I can't be everywhere.
They actually folded because they couldn't get. I think it's because they couldn't get appropriate soldiers.
Really?
I'm not sure, because none of the actual good soldiers that were looking had committed themselves anywhere, but I guess they just got the impression that those, Luzu and those kind of people that would have been really good for them didn't show any interest, so they just kind of quit.
Alright. I also got the impression when I talked to them about some of the soldiers that, were suggested that they didn't think they were good enough, or didn't want them in the team, so...
I think they set the sights too high too soon. They weren't really the roster to attract the big names, but they wanted to play with the big names. I don't know. I think they probably needed a season in Div 1 or something, but I think they were ready to just, go at it, but I'm not sure they were really ready.
Yeah, that's fair enough, really. They've made the decision. Let's just move on anyway. There is so much, literally. All right. Commander X's team is still going. So congratulations, Xavi. You've made a week.
Made a week. 1 week anniversary. Let's have a party, guys. Yeah, we're still plodding on. We're changing players quite a lot, but we're starting to get somewhere, maybe.
Yeah, as I get PM'd. What have you? No longer looking at Sickless, are you? I assume you're playing with other people again.
Yeah, we tried War today. He did well, but we were playing pretty easy team. We'll try and get some proper BTW soon, but War's pretty good.
What happened with Trax? So Tryhard are staying together, aren't they?
I don't know. I don't think Trax wants to stay, but Trax is unavailable a lot this week due to personal stuff. And same with Luzu, and I'm pretty sure Luzu's going to join Droso's team.
The next team on our list.
Leads us on to that.
Should we talk about the fact that Taimu's team, just talk about that Tryharders? I heard that he's moving to Scout. Is that who told me that?
I think I've heard something about that.
I think I told you that. That's what he said, and others said when we were just playing some fun games the other night. But he seemed pretty serious about wanting to practice Scout in the mix. Practically rage quit when he had to go med. So, that's nothing out of the ordinary for Taimu. But he did say quite directly that he was going to play Scout next season.
Okay.
But again, it's Taimu, so take it with a pinch of salt.
Yeah. And then, of course, we talked about where Luzu's going, and looks like this team is where it's going to be. The Drozo, Vikwan, Tai, Luzu, and Flix is what I've heard about it so far. They're looking for +1, I think, still.
Another second soldier.
Yeah, so that's definitely looking like it could be a strong lineup. I don't know much about Flix. I think the last time I saw him was the last Nations Cup. Is that right? Or he used to play for Button Bashers, didn't he? That was the last time I saw him.
He played for you know, the Team Rocket era of German
Yeah.
teams. He was in the Team Rocket. I think he might have played in one of MVP's team at one point, but he was kind of like he never played at the top, but he was one of those players who would have basically a shoe-in for like a top team if he had stuck around, but he went away for other reasons.
Who was the old Button Bashers medic? Because I swear
Ronnie.
Flicks used.
That was
Wait,
right.
Ronnie wasn't
Flicks
there for like
merged
2
for them
months, and
a lot,
Flicks
yeah.
played for 2 months.
Yeah, Flicks did do a lot of work for them, but I think Flicks was in. Was it a Team Rocket with like Ty and those kind of people before?
The old one with like, was it Owl and stuff?
I can't remember that guy's name. I don't remember any of their names, but they're mostly retired German players. Was it Low the Kangaroo or something?
Oh yeah, I remember Low.
Yeah, those kind of people.
I
Yeah, he was really promising
No idea
back
what
in
you
the
guys
day.
are on about.
Oh, Greg, baby noob, it's okay. Go back to CSS.
Oh, I will. Thank you. I've been playing a lot of COD 4 recently. That might be where I'll go.
All right, good luck there.
So yeah, so they got two strong scouts, strong demo. You know, Luzu, when I played with him, was like I've only played with him once, only seen him play once. He played pretty well, so it could work. I don't know whether Drozo and Quinn would, whether they would look to go Prem or Div 1 with that sort of lineup. I would have thought they'd be looking to try and pressure Prem, but I don't know if they would get into it.
I think they'd be aiming to win Div 1 next season. Would be their aim. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I would probably say the same sort of thing.
I think Prem's full basically at the moment. Touchwood.
Touchwood, definitely. But then you can still pressure some of the decisions, can't you? For some of the slots, like folds and stuff doesn't guarantee that first, second, and third go into Prem, does it? I don't know. TCM, that's the biggest news pretty much this week. So we might as well just talk about it quite a lot. I know there's a couple of them actually in Mumble from what I saw. Or is Joey gone? Oh, he's gone. We've driven him off.
He's awful anyway.
So let's go through the lineup then. It's been kind of like played around with a little bit for the past like 3 weeks. I think Byte and Zebo have been looking at the lineup, maybe for longer than that, ever since the Broder fold pretty much. And they wanted to wait till the end of the season. They've now started playing with Zebasai, Byte. So Zebo on Soldier, Byte on Medic. Yeah, Zebo on Roaming. Yeah, Hox is going to be playing Pocket Soldier. Himsy on Demo Man, and Xerox and Fishu on Scout. That is the all-star studded lineup, minus Zebo, of course. No, I joke, of course. So, what do you guys think of that? Go for it.
Rubbish!
I think, obviously they're all good players, but I think one thing that will be an issue is Himsy and Byte playing together. Like, Byte's quite strict with his calling anyway, and Himsy's not really that strict with his positioning, and especially since Demo is Byte's old class, so I can see him being a bit more on top of the Demo's positioning and stuff, especially when Himsy and Byte play in almost opposite ways as Demo Man. But
then you've got to say that Byte had Seb when the old TCM lineup that was half decent and actually won something, but they had Seb playing Demo Man, and Seb isn't a much really aggressive Demo Man. Probably not to the extent of Himsy, but he's still really aggressive. So Byte is kind of maybe used to reining in a demo when he's playing Medic.
Byte likes to play more aggressive on Medic.
Yeah, he definitely really Byte's always traditionally really liked having aggressive demos when he's playing Medic. So I remember when not this one, but the other recent TCM attempt where I was partially involved. He was always talking to me about how keen he was to have like an aggressive demo, and Byte would just kind of instill his wisdom on him and like kind of get rid of the chinks, like with Numlocked. He always says Numlocked's the best demo when he's playing sensibly. And Byte kind of looks to get those kind of demos and teach them kind of how to play sensibly, in his view. Yeah. Which, for whatever you think of Byte and his like smugness or whatever, it has worked quite well in the past. So, like when he had Numlocked, they were like the best team in the scene for absolutely bloody ages. So, if you can get the same out of Himsy, that's pretty good.
I think
you go, man. You go.
No,
okay, I'll go. I was just going to say, I think their success is going to come down to the attitude of players like Fishu and
Xerox.
And Xerox and Himsy, because I think if they just kind of stroll in like, oh yeah, we're the bosses of the bosses from back in the day, we're going to be able to just waltz in and kind of take it, then I think they're going to kind of struggle with Epsilon and Infused. Maybe Crackland as well if they can pick themselves up. But if they come in like all guns blazing, like back to actually trying and practicing, like probably not just in PCWs because some of them have been out for quite a while. I think they'll be really good, but I don't know. I don't think it's like in the bag to come in and rate round, but I think there's a struggle. They might think they can just do that.
They have the potential across the roster.
Yeah, what I mean. But I think they're going to have to try, and I'm not sure some of them might not be aware how much they'll have to try to actually do it. I mean, I'm sure Byte knows, and I'm sure Byte's going to encourage them a lot, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's something I really wanted to bring up, is the fact that a lot of these players have been out of the scene for so long. Like, Joe, TT folded. When did TT fold exactly, Cadus? It was just after ESL, so it was... you didn't go to I-43, it's before that, wasn't it? So it must have been like July, August sort of time last year.
Over half a year.
Yeah, over half a year ago. And Xerox, when did that old TCM lineup fold? That must have been...
Was that the summer before or something, like the upcoming summer?
They went to I-40 and then they folded, I think. So over a year and a half or something.
Yeah.
Since Xerox played. But then he might have been playing other games, which had to keep your aim up and stuff. But the same with Joe, and Joe has been playing a few PCW, murking for a few teams here and there. But you know, they can't just stroll back in. They've got to, to do this, they're going to have to, man up and actually play a bit more. Himsey, obviously, he played a season as demo man, but then quit after the season, and he was playing scout before that. So like, he's only, it's been a couple of months since he played, but he had only played demo man for like 3 months then or something, and he was still getting used to it. He was still overextending so much when he played demo. I remember that season, like whenever he played them, it was just like, oh, just kill Himsey and then push forward, like. And that's what I'd say. I think Hawks is fine, just because I know he went out, he played for another team, and then he's had a chill out season, and he wants to come back and play, and like, I doubt he would rush into something with Byte, while Himsey might do. Like, if Hawks is in it, he can go, oh, well, if Hawks is there, I can go play with that. It'll be fun. Oh, now I'm playing with Byte, 2 weeks down the line, I'll be like, I really don't want to play with Byte. Or, it could work. It could work completely well, but I think we have to wait and see, really, with that sort of lineup, whether they actually make it to the next season. Like, I don't think it's a case of letting them play a season and seeing what happens. I think it's a case of what happens in the next 3 weeks is really important for that sort of team. But they played a couple of games earlier. I think they played you, didn't they, Cadus? And they trashed you on one map, and then you beat them on the other, from what you said. Is that right?
Yeah. I'm not going to draw any conclusions about them from that, because it was, their first game, our first game for a week, so we weren't really particularly on it. For example, they scrubbed us, completely destroyed us on Badlands, but then we managed to take our worst map, Granary, from them. So that kind of shows the inconsistency there of both teams. I don't think what I saw today really has any kind of bearing on how they're going to be.
Yeah.
And neither the loss nor the win. They showed good things, and going back to the Himsey point, Himsey definitely showed that tendency.
Yeah.
But that's the kind of thing that's I think that could just disappear practically overnight, though, if they can make it click. Or it could just go completely the opposite direction, and the tension between Byte and Himsey just mounts and just completely destroys the team. It could literally go either way. Only time will tell.
The old team he played in, the old Dignitas lineup, they didn't, when he went back to demo, they didn't really have a reign on him. I don't know really who was the main caller in that team to try. I think they didn't have a caller really, did they? Was it Hawks? I don't know.
From what I understood, Kiner was in charge of calls when he was there. Then Hawks did a lot of calling as well.
Okay.
From what I understand.
Well, yeah. So when Himsey played that season as demo, he would just jump forward and expect to hit all his pipes and then die. Is kind of what it felt like in every time they tried to push. So you could just play a little bit defensively. He would then overextend, you kill him, and their push just loot is automatically lost just because of that. And
the thing is, Byte's so structured in the way that he plays TF2, especially when he's medicing. I don't know. I've played in top teams like TT. We were, I'd say we were a top team for quite a while. But the difference between playing for TT and playing for TCM in terms of just the general strategy and organization of things in TCM, not even the atmosphere. Obviously, there's a big difference. But I'm talking about just in a rigid structure of tactics. TCM has that to such Byte, the combination of Byte and Horntwister were there. Just the rigidness of their tactics and strategy was just so... It's nothing I've seen before, so... Himsey's really not going to get... As long as he complies with Byte, he's really not going to get that many options, of just kind of, freestyling it and doing whatever.
Yeah,
I mean, it will come up. Byte will tell him, sometimes just go aggressive, just jump on them.
Yeah.
Do your thing.
but like it's always going to be Byte telling him basically a lot of the time.
Yeah, when we played in Team UK, like Byte was like micromanaging 5 other players the whole time, as well as playing himself. Like he, if we had a push, he would literally be like, "Okay, Seb go in, now Mike go in, Mike come back get heals, Scouts go in." Like he would literally like micromanage the whole push as it went. It would, it's not like free flowing anything like which doesn't really work. But then you've got I'd say it doesn't really work when it's really, really rigid like that. But you've got players that do think for themselves in that team, like Joe, who would literally go, "Bite, that's fucking retarded," and then just push off and do whatever he wants, like, and just smash it. Like, I think the way Bite plays it is good, but it's as long as people do still think for themselves, it's going to work better. When it comes to this team, I think it will work out. To be honest, like Zebo playing roaming, I don't know how good he is at roaming. Did he play roaming in Broda?
No,
well, he played pocket, but the soldiers had quite a lot of freedom in Broda. Mackie was very pockety, but Himsy won't be pockety at all.
I don't think Zebase is going to struggle, to be honest. I think the only front on which Zebase might struggle is if he comes to blows with Byte, because Zebase is quite I wouldn't say arrogant, but he thinks...
He has his own ideas about the game.
Yeah, he has his mentality, and a lot of the time he is very smart, so he will have like good legs to stand on as far as like disagreeing with Byte. So I think the only problem Zebase might have is if he disagrees how to what extent is he willing to compromise with Byte.
It will be a lot
maybe
as well.
The only
like,
problem.
Zeba will have his own style of how he likes to play Rome in that, and if that doesn't quite fit in with what Byte's strategy for the team, there could be blows.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think we've exhausted what we can talk about with that lineup, really. Unless you guys have anything more to add. Unless anyone in the chat has anything they want to add.
It's just a question of waiting and seeing how it develops. There's not a lot that can be said about one day. It's definitely very promising on paper, though.
Yeah, something I haven't talked to anybody from. I haven't talked to Zeb or I haven't talked to Byte about, because I guess it's quite early doors, but they're probably still thinking about it. Is the TCM sponsorship? What's going to go down with that? I assume that they will be going under the TCM banner once Byte thinks they're ready for it, in the same way they did with the other lineup. But whether they, like money-wise, will they get all those foreign players to LAN again?
All these players,
I was thinking for I-46 they would, but I don't know for any other events.
They've all landed before. I noticed now when Barosta came out, like they're all LANable players, which was obviously... Except I don't know about Zebasai, but I presume he is, because I presume like one of the big aims was to go to the I-46.
Yeah, I assume like they've set it up this early to be planning to play the next season, lots of practice for the next season, and then go into I-46. But that whether they're actually going to get funding for that, Seba's just PM'd me in fact and said they need to prove themselves before they go to I-46 to prove it's worth the money. So that must be why they're setting the team up so early, so they can get a good season under the belt, prove that it's worth sending them to the event. Can compete with the other 2 teams, or other 4 teams, shall I say now, after this week. And just keep going with that, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, let's move on. We've had a lot of talking about TCM. Apparently, according to Admirable, Joey C is the weak link. Oh, big words.
Still a bit rusty.
Yeah. Will he even... When does his uni finish? That's one thing we didn't cover, actually. When is he available full-time?
Well, the thing is, he's never been specifically unavailable because of uni. Like, he could have played if he really wanted to. Like, when he quit, it was just a case of he couldn't be bothered, basically. He didn't have the desire to play that much. But I'm not sure, like... For example, Byte's only scheduling 1 PCW day at a time at the moment. Like, I think they're doing it like they play one night and then they say, okay, when are you all here next? And then they'll play it whenever that is. I think they're kind of taking, like a relatively casual approach at the start, like nothing too full on.
All right.
Because they have like the Easter break, Joey will have like the Easter break within the next week or so, which is for most unis, that's about a month. And I don't know how it works for him, but for me, for example, like I'm in 3rd year, he's in 3rd year, different unis, but same countries, the same system. After the 1 month break for Easter, semester 2 works, so it's like there's a lot of time designated for exams, but you have very few exams. So like for me, I have like
sessions.
The second half of semester 2 for me is 2 weeks, whereas the second half of semester 1 is like 12 weeks or something absurd like that. So it's like shorter. It's a lot different. So he could be free very quickly.
My uni is really weird actually though. The way that I finish everything before Easter. Like, so I literally then have like 2 months of break to revise for exams.
Yeah, it's the same for me. I imagine it's very similar for him. So he could be like fully available very soon. Like his band was another thing. Like I don't know how his band's going or anything like that, but it was like kind of taking off a little bit, like a lot of gigging and shit like that.
Yeah.
So that was like the combination of that and uni was the problem. But haven't spoken to him about any of that in a while.
Anyway, let's move on. We talked a lot about TCM. We might have some updates in the next few episodes about what's going on with them. I doubt we really will in the next one, probably in a couple of weeks' time.
We should do like a little weekly progress report for them.
Progress
Tally all their
report
PCW results.
Equilibrium, there was a lot of like hoo-ha about them folding. Did I just say hoo-ha? Yeah, I did. Okay, yeah. Noise about them folding. They're not. Ignore everything you've heard. Basically, it felt.
No, their players looking for teams.
It was. What was
they
it?
didn't realise they were going to get Prem. Basically, they didn't realise second place gets promoted to Prem. So like, no motivation to play another season Div 1. So like, that's fold. Then they found out that if they win their last game, which they did off class apparently, that they do get Prem. So they were like, oh, let's stay together and play Prem then.
Yeah, it was really stupid. I mean, if you just have to look at the scene to know that they're going to get Prem next season, like wherever they had finished.
Yeah, that's what.
Like, I don't understand why like they would just fold. I mean, they could have come fifth and they like had like a bad season, but like, you can see how good the roster is. And next season they should have Prem easily.
Toda might be coming back in as demo as well. Should be interesting.
Yeah, that would be interesting. Who do they have at the moment? Reapy, isn't it?
Reapy, yeah.
Toda is better than Reapy, so would be better for them, I guess. Yeah, that's it for Equilibrium. They just it was basically they wanted Prem, thought they didn't get it, and realised they did. So that's why everything went down. Let's just move on to the next topics. There's no more team news unless anybody has anything they want to say in the chat, but we'll keep moving on while people might say that.
Oh, Toda's just a backup apparently. But anyway, carry on.
Let's do the ESL news first. I don't really know much about it. Someone go into it. Cadus or Xavi, either of you. I think Xavi knows more about it. I don't know.
No, I don't know what Cadus told me. Basically, ESL are paying out their prize money for the last season that was played for one...
Catman's money.
Yeah, for one Crack Clan one. I think they were called Kick at the time, you know, that Spanish Jew team. Whatever, plus Mike.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Do you know how much money it was?
750 or something.
It was either 500. It was between 500 and 750 for Crackland. TT are getting 150, which, as far as I know, is going towards Ari's server, which still hosts vanilla and stuff like that. So that's just going back into the community. I hope Crackland will use theirs to ensure they get to Y46 personally.
That would make
and not just buy more Jew gold or something of that nature.
So I just have someone intruding in my room, so keep going, one of you guys.
Yeah, I think this must be someone else to get paid. They paid out to more than just the top two. Like, I don't know who is it. Oh, SG1. SG1 already got their payment for where they placed, which was Power / whatever the bloody hell.
I think they were Power.
Dignitas.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Power, then SG1, then Dignitas, then Fold. That team. I don't know if TCM got anything out of ESL. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. I'm sure TCM will just gobble it up though if they
it's probably did. Not substantial between 6 players really. It's worth giving each player like $8 or something.
Alright, so that's the ESL news, which is pretty cool to be honest. Like, I didn't think any of that money was ever going to get paid out, honestly. So at least they are paying it out. Like, I still know source teams from like that owed money from like 3 years ago. Something like that from ESL. So
well, it was Catman, wasn't it? He put the money up for the ESL season, and then he vanished before the season finished.
Yeah,
I think he basically just lost any like will to help the TF2 scene, so just basically disconnected himself from it. But then someone tracked him down.
I think his team folded, so he sort of lost interest in the game, lost interest in the scene at the same time.
That's fair enough. Along the same sort of lines, well, not the same sort of lines, along the lines of someone else putting money in, let's go into the cups that have happened and been announced for this week. Let's start with the Angel Cup. So Angel recently has been putting a lot of money in. Awesome from him, to be honest, and he's just done another one. Actually, why don't we talk about that one after the other cup? You know, the one that we want to rant about. Let's talk about this other cup that's been announced on Esports Heaven. So Esports Heaven have been good to us as a TF2 scene for quite a while. I don't know how long they've been doing cups for, but it must be at least 2 years or something. and they've just decided now to run another one. They've been given 5 SSDs, I think they are. I don't know what. I think they're like worth 200 euros each or something like that. What are you laughing at, Cadus?
Joey just coming to the revelation that we've been live for 30 minutes.
Oh god. Right. So yeah, they've been good. They've given us some prizes. They've been giving us these new whatever they are SSDs, and admins have turned around and decided that we want a class limit 5v5 cup.
Damn it, Quad.
Class limit 1, sorry, 5v5 cup. Like what? Does someone want to rant first, and then I'll chime in later? Or not?
There's numerous flaws in the idea of a 5v5 class limit 1 cup to begin with, and I don't know why. It's the sort of thing I'd expect TF2 to do for like a fun cup or something to entertain the masses. But to, use money that could be used, for another cup on this is a little bit silly. And I think Infuse definitely aren't entering. I heard Yo-Yo Tech are entering minus Cadus. But that's the thing.
I'm playing, I think.
Like a 5-person cup means you have to cut someone, basically. Not cut them, but you have to cut someone if you win. Like, for example, Yo-Yo Tech have to pick someone. If everyone's available, they have to pick someone to not get a chance at winning that money, basically.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, and it's TF2. We barely get any prize funds, any prize money anyway, and somebody from a lower div has been idly chilling with his mates and gone, I know what would be a good idea. Let's make this fun cup instead of giving prizes to the teams that have worked hard to get to the top of the scene to actually provide a good tournament for them to play in and provide us good viewing figures, not viewing figures, but good games to view even. And I just can't be arsed with it really. Honestly, if you've only been given 5 as a prize, then you can do something better with it for sure than trying to just make up some new random class limit rule just for a bit of a fun cup.
With those kind of prizes, it's not like Epsilon sitting at home being like, oh my god, I just need a new hard drive. If only I got a new hard drive, man. If they get those prizes, they're just going to sell them and split the cash at the end of the day. Obviously, it's a little bit more complicated now because someone will have to take the responsibility rather than everyone getting one and everyone dealing with it. It will have to be someone getting them, selling them, and sending the cash. But I'm fairly sure they would have been okay with that. I say Epsilon because obviously Epsilon would have won it anyway. So if Epsilon are okay with it, then what's the big deal, man? You're just paying them anyway. Or maybe that's why. Maybe they just wanted Epsilon not to win something for a change.
Oh, it's hard blows to me, Cadus.
I don't know. I didn't even mean it like that.
Hey, we might win the cup soon. You never know.
Oh yeah, you are. You finally got a lucky break.
Enter it. So I just think it's a bit retarded. I just don't understand where it's come from. Or
it's very out of the blue.
Yeah.
The thing that really jerks me about it is whenever I spoke to anyone about it, the whole idea of it is supposed to be to attract a different set of players. Supposedly that's an argument, but then why has it only been advertised on vanilla TF2, which is where exclusively 6v6 players are reading, and it's not on ETF2L, it's not on, I don't know where else it could be, but it's not anywhere. Is it on
Steam forums?
Is it on the Steam forums?
Right.
I don't see it on the Steam forums. I don't see it on Reddit. So exactly what
I would just interrupt with you and interrupt you right there and just say they did a new ETF2L has done a new news post and it is on there.
Oh, have they done a new one?
Yeah, but it's not very big section.
Oh my god, yeah,
you have to kind of read news.
Yeah, you literally have to read the whole thing.
To the bottom and then read less than a paragraph's worth of words.
I check out ETF every day and I wouldn't have noticed it if you hadn't have said it was there.
So, it's just really, really strange. Oh well. Whether they'll change it, I doubt it now. It's all been announced, but I don't know. When you have prizes for cups, generally it's there for to attract the best quality in teams you can get. And if you're doing this and just want extra players to sign up, why not just run a Highlander and then just get the players to sell the stuff and sort it out? or do something like that if you're trying to attract like a load of players that don't normally enter these cups. Like in theory, you should, when you're doing this sort of thing, attract the 6v6 teams, and it's really annoying. It really is annoying. Like I was looking forward to a good cup, but let's change tack anyway. Angels come to our rescue. Let's put it that way. After seeing all this random 5v1, class limit 1 5v5 rubbish, and gone, what the hell are you doing? And made his own cup with 500 euros in prize funds or prize money, which is awesome. Like, hats off to him. Thank you very much. And he's made a bit of a joke out of it as well. Well, not really a bit of a joke about the other cup, because he has said, like, he's literally just copied the entire intro from the other cup and then just changed it to, like, 6v6, class limit 2. Yes. Oh, he's changed the money, apparently. Apparently it's 750 for first, so I take that back as well.
That's good.
Yeah. What was it before? Awesome. Was it 500?
500. Yeah.
For Div 2B, didn't he increased it like 4 times? It could be like $2,000 by the time the cup actually comes around.
Yeah, if we get a lot of people signing up, guys, he might increase the prize fund. So there you go, incentive. But originally it was meant to be played on the same night as the 5v5 cup, but he decided against that. And
that's just mean.
That was so bitter.
One of the really, really critical things I want to say about this is that it is a double elim tournament, which is awesome. We barely ever get them, and it always ends up meaning that teams don't get a chance. They'll end up like crashing into a Prem team and be like, "Oh, we've lost, get knocked out." Yeah, exactly. Or we'll have like a Div 1 team against a Prem team, and then the Div 1 teams will all be knocked out. They won't get to play against each other to see who's the better one. Or like the lower Prem teams don't get to play each other to see who's the better, But now we can actually, physically be able to see some good games of these lower teams actually playing each other in the the lower bracket, unless they unfortunately meet in the upper bracket. So I think double elim is awesome for especially for us when we're doing like the top 10s and stuff. Like so much easier when you actually have a game to tell the difference between the teams. So that's I do think that's really, really cool. It might take an extra couple of days, but I'm happy for it to be like that, and it should be good.
TF2's over now, so it's not like people are like, oh, we've got so much to do, so many officials to get schedule. It's like everyone's got time now. So
yeah, indeed, and it would be awesome to know who actually for the 5v5 cup who made the decision for that, because they have like 4 admins in ESH, don't they? Or is it only 1? Does anyone know?
I think it's usual suspects, isn't it? It's like, isn't it like Crasp, Canfo?
Yeah, like Crasp does loads for our community, and like I love him for it, because I hate adminning. I wouldn't do it, and he does loads, and he should get respect for that. But that is yet another really, really strange decision that I don't see where it's coming from. But well, let's take a look at the other cup that went on earlier this week, which was of course the XLO Invite. I don't really remember much from it. It happened on Tuesday, was it? Was it Tuesday?
Wednesday, I think.
No, it was Tuesday. Definitely Tuesday.
Sure.
Yeah. So we had some games. We had Epsilon versus... No, Epsilon weren't even in it. I'll take that back. Infused versus Deserto. Do you have all the scores and stuff written down, Xavi? Because I don't have them.
No, I can remember it went...
well. Yo-Yo Tech versus... who did you play?
Nitros. We played Nitros in the end.
I'm going to stop chiming in. Carry on.
Crack Clan played Quarantine? That sound right?
No, Quarantine played UV.
Yeah, Quarantine played UV because I cast in that game.
Yeah, Quarantine played UV. Who did Crack Clan play then? I don't even remember who else was in that cup.
Oh, they played the Div 14. It's Perilous.
Oh, of course they did. Yeah, they played Perilous. And so it was kind of 5-0 rolls across the board from the Prem teams, which kind of sucks that we didn't have all those old low Prem teams like didn't even enter, which was really, really strange. But oh well. And then we had the really close game of UV versus Quarantine, which is like an awesome, it was a really, really awesome game. You casted that, didn't you, Xavi? And it went to 3 maps because I was sitting there. We finished our game, and I had to spec 2 maps before we got to play against UV. Like that's how long it took for them to finish their game past our time. Like, wow, we all just disappeared for ages. Then I ended up coming back and playing our game versus them. So UV won that as well, which is awesome for them. That was a really, really good game actually. Like, worth going and watching those VODs on Vanilla, guys, for that game. Went to 3 maps, as I said, and UV took it overall over quarantine. I don't remember what the scores were. Do you, Zavi?
Nope.
No? Awesome. So let's take a look at the semi-finals. We had Crackland versus Yo-Yo Tech, Infused versus UV. Our game versus UV went as expected, pretty much 7-2 Badlands, 5-0 Granary. And then Yo-Yo Tech versus Crackland did not go as expected, or depending on which side you are, probably did. Of course, earlier in the week, when Crackland had Harry Hook instead of Longas, Yo-Yo Tech beat Crackland, which was an awesome result. Was that this week or was that last week, Cadus?
This week.
That was last. Wait,
last
Sunday.
week, yeah.
No, it was this week technically.
Not the XLO, but the
one.
ETF12.
Yeah,
No,
that
it
was
last week. We talked about it already.
I have absolutely no idea. Who
We have
knows?
talked about it already. I remember casting it on the Sunday or something.
Yeah,
we did it supposed to be. Yeah.
We casted it, yeah.
So they already beaten them once with Harry Hook, and now they've got Longas in instead of Harry Hook, and Yo-Yo Tech yet again upset Crackland. Brilliant result. I don't remember what the scores were. Cadus, can you fill me in?
I can't remember the exact scores, but it was Badlands and Gully Wash. We took each map by 1 round, not Golden Cap, but just a standard round.
Yeah, it looked very, very close, and Crackland played very, very strangely, like very slowly, is what I would say. And there was one shot where they were just literally, were they 1-0 up or 2-0 up on, or 2-1 up?
They were a round up. It was like 2-1 or something, and they just sat on middle like completely. Like the thing I berated Quarantine for ages ago, just like literally not even trying to get a pick, just waiting for the other team to push.
Yeah, that was on Gully Wash.
Gully Wash.
Gully Wash middle, Crackland were on, holding it, and Yo-Yo Tech were on their second. So Tavik went into spawn, swapped to sniper, tried to peek at choke, wasted about a minute at choke, didn't get anything, went to big door and just jumped out and instantly headshot Roy's. Yeah, serves you right, Crackland, for camping, and they lost that round, and then probably pretty crucial turning point in the game. If Yo-Yo Tech hadn't taken that, I think they took a round off it as well.
I think they lost 3 rounds on the trot from there.
Yeah.
So pretty crucial turning point.
Completely, it gives so much motivation for you, and you just went on and rolled it from there. And fair enough, Crackland started to come back in the end, but when you're 3 rounds up and it's I think it was like 8 minutes left. It's it's really tough to come back from that being 3 rounds down, or 3 rounds up. You're like, oh, you can afford to lose one. It's not the worst thing in the world at all. So, but yeah, it was a nice result really from Crackland, and congratulations to them beating. Not from Crackland, from Yo-Yo Tech, and congratulations for beating Crackland yet again. So I don't know if you want to add anything more to it, Cadus, or...
Yay,
awesome.
Yeah,
what about you, Savvy?
I'm sort of like, I really like Crackland, but I'm glad that happened to them after they were just turtling there. Like I said on the cast, like when you do that, you kill both teams' momentum, not just the other teams. It's like, but then faggy.
Yes. So the final, Infused versus Yo-Yo Tech. Of course, it means that Infused won't be playing Epsilon. That's like a first final of a cup for ages that's happened. So it should be fun to see a different final. Of course,
it's probably going to be the most climactic final you've ever seen. He's going to get raped in like 20 minutes, and that'll be.
Yeah. Are you going to be on good internet for it?
I don't know. It depends on the admins.
They've said that they're allowing you guys to wait, I think. But
okay.
I talked to him I talked to Sonny the other day, and he pretty much said, yeah, it's fine. Just find out when you're going to play it and tell me. So
okay.
For those of you who don't know what we're talking about, Cadus doesn't have good internet for the next week. Next weekend he's home again, and he'll have decent internet. So we're quite happy as Infused to wait for them to get good internet so we can play them on equal footing as such, rather than just having Cadus warping around and not being able to do anything and just being effectively 6v5 or 6v5.5 and no demo man. So we'll be delayed till next week, I think, depending on whether that's actually, I'll double check with Sunny and stuff.
Yeah.
And it will be then. We haven't sorted any maps out whatsoever, but it should be fun. Anything more? Do you guys want to add anything? Do you want to predict predictions? Yeah. Cadus prediction?
No offense. Right.
What, that match? The ES... What is it?
XLO final.
I'll say 2-0 Infused. Confidence.
I will agree with the others. 2-0 Infused. I'm sorry, Cadus. I would give you an upset. Maybe I'll give you 2-1. There you go. How's that, mate?
It's more than I give us. So Thank you.
Why don't you play at 5v5 class limit 1? Because that will probably be more
on
fun
Koth
for
maps as well,
everyone.
you know.
On Koth maps, yeah.
Yeah.
They could just cut out Duncan and their roster would be on average stronger.
Man, Dunk takes up a lot of enemy soldiers' time. he wastes at least two to three rockets every fight.
just 2 to 3, not 4.
I think he wasted 4 one time.
What is the prize for Accelero? Is it like mouse pads again or something?
Yeah, mouse pads.
I desperately need new mouse pads, so that's good news.
I do actually as well.
Although
So
I need one as well. So
not that I'm going to win one, but maybe Greg will
you can
give
buy
me
my old ones, Abby. How's that?
when you say buy, why don't I?
Oh, you don't have any money, do you?
Me. Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see. Let's move on then. We've kind of exhausted the cups. Yeah. While we're there, do sign up for the cups you want to enter, guys. Like, so I don't, you know, if you want to enter that's class limit 1 thing and have a bit of fun with it, then go for it. It's awesome. You're still supporting the scene. Like, you don't have to not sign up for it because you disagree with the way they're doing it at all. And then sign up for Angel. Like, that'd be awesome. A double limb cup. Fair enough. It's like a lot more days out of your schedule that you might have to, you know, try and make sure people are around or get a merc to play. But at least if you enter, then, you know, you're benefiting the scene. You'll have a bit of fun and a double a limb. You'll be able to play. You know, you don't go out in the first round. So definitely enter. Get more teams involved and let everyone else know. You know, just say, "Oh, are you entering this?" to somebody. They'll be like, "Oh, what's that?" But yeah, and then they might sign up as well. Let's move on to ETF2L.
Oh, now I know how I can approach people with how to tell them about this cup. I normally didn't tell people before because I couldn't find the wording.
Yeah, you just needed a little bit of help from me, and then you're sorted. Let's move on. What is it? Let's talk about Division 1, finished today. So UV took first place. That happened earlier in the week. Congratulations to them. I think. What happened in that game? Who did they have to play? Did we cast it?
UV had to play Equilibrium, didn't they?
Oh, yeah, it was Equilibrium.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't, because they lost Equilibrium. I don't know. Basically, UV won a game that they needed to win against, like, ISIS or something, I think it could have been, and they guaranteed them first place. Then Equilibrium had to play against ISIS earlier today, and if they won, they got second place, and if they lost, they got 4th. I think it was something like that.
Yeah.
And they won, which means they get second place, and I think Deserto get 3rd. Is that right?
Deserto in 3rd, yeah, and Quarantine and Punchline are tied on 4th. Like, this season for me, it's been Punchline have kind of been the standout team, like, because all the other teams we expected to be the top teams. Actually, not UV, actually.
I was going to say, I think UV are the standout team from Div 1 completely, because I wasn't expecting that. I always thought it would be a 2-horse race between, well, I say 2-horse. I thought it would be Deserto and Quarantine before going into it. I didn't know how Equilibrium would be doing with their new lineup. They've had a really good season. But I always thought it would be Quarantine and, who else did I say? Deserto. And, you know, so good work from UV and Equilibrium to surprise me and take 1 and 2. Punchline have had a decent season, stolen maps here and there. What were you about to say about them?
Yeah, and I just like I thought they would be like, you know, when like the ISIS and Giraffe, they'd just be like bottom runner team, sort of taking a bit of a beating, but they've competed with like pretty much all their games, have taken maps off most of the top teams. I think they only got 6-0'd by Quarantine.
Cool. All right, it's not too bad then at all, really. Does that I mean, Kalis, do you want to add anything about Div 1 this season? Is he even there?
Yeah, right. I'm here. Div 1?
Yeah, Div 1, man. You did listen to what we just said?
Not really, but I can just say about what I think about Div 1 anyway, right?
Yeah, it's fine.
I'm actually really surprised by how good Div 1 was this season. I mean, looking at the start, I just thought, wow, like, dear God, this game is dead. You know, but, like, I thought Quarantine were just going to basically run away with it, but then, like, Deserto and UV especially, like, stepped up, which I didn't really expect at the start of the season. Equilibrium, yeah, I'm glad they got it together, like, in the end, but at the start, they were really dodgy, but they've definitely come a long way. I think basically what you have is you have, like, 4 teams in Div 1 now that really are either making the step or, you know, just about ready to make the step to Prem, basically, most of them.
So
maybe a few roster changes in order, particularly in 1 or 2. I won't mention names, but yeah, you know.
Well done.
Are there any any other teams in Div 1 that you think need another season in Div 1 before they make the step, or are they all ready to go if it gets offered to them?
Quarantine. Need another
I don't know.
team.
Quarantine
Deserto,
kind
I
of
think.
Quarantine kind of disappointed me. I thought they would do better than they did, but I think that's more to other teams' credit than to their letting themselves down. I think Quarantine probably could do it. I think they'd be the whipping boys, but I think they could handle Prem. I don't think they do well, but I don't think it would like destroy them as a team. Deserto, I wouldn't put them in Prem. Like maybe they're good enough, maybe they're not, but I don't think they're. I don't know. I think it would just collapse basically if they played Prem. I don't think Skeege could like handle it. Not the Skeege couldn't handle Prem, but I think he would just explode with rage if he was playing Prem. Because he's kind of like Bite, but no players have the same respect for him, so they don't really listen.
Good way of putting it. That.
Yeah, I don't think it would work for them with the roster they have. I don't think just the mentality is too split. But I think the top two, UV, EQ, go for it. Off they go.
Yeah, I think I agree. Definitely. The Certo's a bit of a dodgy one, really. I probably wouldn't put them in, but I don't know what's happening with their roster over this like off season, because I've heard rumors here and there about people not wanting to play anymore and stuff like that. So if that does happen and they have a roster change here and there, maybe they'll be better with it. Maybe they'll be worse, and maybe if they're better with it, then they'll push forward. I think Poop is definitely a good demo man for them, and like they probably would have done a lot. They probably would have got the second straight out if they had Poop playing in one of their games. When they lost the game when Shintas was playing. Or
3 games, 2 games without 2 officials without Poop. I think they did pretty well on them actually, but
yeah, I think they got someone in to Merc as demo man, and Shintas played scout for one of them, which helped them out for sure.
Mighty Me played really well when he merked them. I was quite impressed. But yeah.
I've always thought he's a pretty decent demo man. So anyway, I think that's enough Div 1 talk. Well, let's move to the most important Div in ETF2L, which is of course Div 2B, guys, the Money League. Me and Xavi casted pretty much the last game of Div 2B, which decided it all. It was Cedo, the Russians/Latvians versus
I think they're all Latvian.
Was it MIPC?
Yeah,
it was MIPC, wasn't it? And MIPC had to get 6 points, or they had to get 5 points to force a draw, or 6 points for them to win it outright. So Cedo basically just needed to win a map either by golden cap or just normally winning it. Yeah. So it was. They played Badlands first. It was Badlands Gravel Pit, and me and Xavi were there sitting there thinking it would have been better if they played Gravel Pit first, just because of the fact that you can't get draws on Gravel Pit. So if they played Gravel Pit first, and
Badlands would be really tense.
Badlands would have been so tense, because if it had gone to a golden cap, it would have kept being really tense. But in the end, Cedo looked so strong on Badlands, so much more dominant than MIPC, and took Badlands. I don't remember what the score was, like
5-2.
Yeah, I think it was like a 3-round difference sort of thing. So congratulations to Cedo. They won that $600?
$600, I think, yeah.
Yeah, off Angel, which is awesome for them. I haven't actually looked at the top 3 and found out if anybody got the guesses right. Do you want to find out who's third? So it was Cedo, MIPC, and then
LDLC were third.
LDLC. So if you guessed that, and the first person to guess that, then you win like $400. So it might be worth going back and checking through your Div 2B predictions, guys, and seeing if you got it right. But congratulations to Cedo, for sure. They win the money. And unfortunately for MIPC, they go home with nothing. But let's move on from that Div, unless you guys want to add anything more.
No.
Nope.
In the match, Destructo just outclassed the other demo men, but finished MIPC's demo.
Even if the VOD doesn't have any sound, guys, Destructo gets the most ridiculous sticky track in the world that you should go and watch it just for that. Right? I went mental after that. It was... okay, let's put it this way. Badlands ran the sticky spot. So you all know what I'm talking about already, and he got a 4K out of it. It was ridiculous. Just like, why did MOPC not check there? But 4 of them died to it. It was hilarious, right? And that was a massive turning point in that game. So
I think it was 2-2 when that happened. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's that. Let's move on to Prem. Let's go for the results of the week first, Savvy. You've got them all, and I don't. So go for it.
So CC played versus Infused. They took a map each. 2-4-2 to Infused on one map and 4-3 to Crackland on Granary. I can't remember what the other map was. Epsilon played 2 games this week. Played Yo-Yo Tech, 6-0'd them, like 6-2, 5-0, pretty roll maps. And then they played Carnage, 5-0'd Gullywash or something, or Badlands, and then lost Gravel Pit, 2-0. And Carnage then played Tryharders in sort of the battle not to be bottom. And Carnage got kind of rolled, like 2-0 on Gravel Pit and 5-2 in whatever the other map was.
Yeah. So, do you guys want to talk about? Let's talk about Infused Crackland first. If you guys want to go for that one.
Yeah, I'm kind of impressed by Crackland and kind of unimpressed with Infused. Like, they had no real plan on middle and they kept going right and kept getting completely screwed.
Yeah, we got destroyed on Granary. Like, it might have seemed like it was close at 4-3, but it really wasn't. Well. It could have been, if we'd actually been able to aim, then we would have won, but we were shit. I can add excuses or whatever, but we just were bad, and Crackdown outclassed us, and then they just played a really slow game, which, you know, they just wanted to bait us into something, and it worked. Like, they literally sat there in yard for like 5 minutes. Like, it wasn't that long, but it was like 2.5 minutes or something.
And they slowed the game down at every opportunity, really. Not like as badly as they did versus Yo-Yo Tech on Gullywash. Like, they just would take their time over push. They just like keep poking doors and wouldn't push unless they felt really comfortable with like their getting in.
Yeah, which was smart, especially when we hadn't had a warm up. So like, you know, obviously if they're slowing the game down, we're not really getting a chance to warm up. So
just dropping that one in there, huh?
Yeah, just dropping that little excuse right there.
By the way, guys,
thought that would get through. Thought that would get through. Yeah, we played IDAC for like 20 minutes. Great warm up that. Yeah. IDAC, the map. IDAC, the deathmatch map.
Don't understand.
It's a DM map.
Yeah.
Oh, right. I thought it was like some team I've never heard of, and I was like,
no.
If only we had to go to TF2 Wars, they were Div 4. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Surely if you play a DM map, you're even more warm. Like, you spend most of the pieces of it just watching chokes.
We needed a game on Granary, and we were like DMing for like 20 minutes at the beginning of it, and then everyone went AFK until the game. So.
Okay.
But yeah, that's that game. Cadis, you want to add anything more? I don't know if you saw the game or not. So
I didn't really see it. I kind of watched the VOD of Granary, but I wasn't really paying attention. It just looked like Infused were terrible rather than Crackland being good.
Yeah, that's what it was. So, but well played to Crackland. You know, they still played their game and it worked on Granary, and they took the map, which in theory should have put Epsilon to first place in ETF2L. Until I got a PM at the end of the match from Zebo going, oh, unlucky on Granary. Don't worry though, we beat Epsilon on Gravel Pit. Like, what the hell? That result is just so ridiculous. I hear they had Bite playing demo, so possibly the reason. No anti there, just to like, oh, I'm dead. Just let go of his keyboard and mouse.
Shit, a scout on me. Oh well, I give up.
So really good result from Carnage's point of view, even though they're folding, like, to beat Epsilon. And thank you very much, Carnage, for giving us first place. I'm appreciative. So
wait a few more days before losing the best of 3.
Hey, it guarantees us top 2, man.
Surely you want those bags though, right? Only first is going to cut it. Like extreme dragon packs.
Second get the bag.
We get everything.
No.
Oh, we're getting all of that shit anyway. Like,
surely you need brilliant super awesome dragon bags.
Yeah, one thing I do want to point out is Epsilon didn't have waters when they played Carnage, so it's pretty big. I don't remember who they had. Someone did tell me.
Like Flippy or Flip, or one of those two.
Flippy, the French scout. He is a good scout, but not waters, that's for sure, and probably not used to playing in Prem, even if it is Carnage trolling about.
Probably not.
Yeah. So, and it's. I've always been a bit weird about Epsilon on Gravel Pit. They don't play it very often, and they always eliminate it. So that kind of just proves to me that they're still bad in it. And it seems to me whenever we have played them, I think we played them once, and I think we won that game. Yeah, it was last season, I think, and we won it. And the reason it felt like the reason that we won or didn't, I think it was 2-1, was because like Waters was just carrying them with like sniping. Like,
it's weird because you would think based on their roster, that they would be really good at a map like Gravel Pit. Like, can they just not be bothered or something?
Yeah, I think
they just run their chances in the season and just always eliminate it.
They don't.
We should have a cup where it's map picks first instead of elimination.
But generally,
I think that's better.
Everything we've done with them has been map picks, like the past, like however many cups. But we just never pick Gravel Pit because like Dunk.
Maybe that's where you're going wrong, bro.
Yeah, like Dunk never wants to play it and pick it. We always seem to lose our own map, right?
Let's point out to Dunk it's not worked in the past to try something different.
We picked like Snake Water in one cup, like in the TF2 final, and got 5-0.
When you got like 5-0,
map, right? And we picked Granary in the XLO Cup earlier in the year, and got 5-0 on that, and won their map. Like, oh god. I do try and explain it to Dunk, but he just doesn't want to play it in a final because he thinks it's too random. But I think random.
I was about to say because consistently losing is.
I know.
At least it's consistent. Right.
Yeah, but there we go. So unfortunately for Epsilon, of course they did have a Merc. So, oh yeah, someone's just said, we don't need to pick them out. Just let them pick 2, and then we'll win.
That's what's stopping you.
What other games are this week? So yeah, congratulations to Carnage, I have to say, for winning that game. And unfortunately, he's still bottoming the Premier League, the Premier table in the end after losing to Tryharders. Tryharders, nice result. Ended up beating Carnage. I think Carnage were trolling about. I think I heard Pyro was played by Quad for like the majority of the game. Or so that's something I heard. I don't think it was Quad's fault though. Even though if he was played Pyro, then they lost.
I was about to say it wasn't Quad's fault. He was on Pyro the whole game. I'm pretty sure it is Quad's fault. But yeah, guys, I just keep trying to press like (1), but I keep missing. I don't know what's wrong with me. Sorry, just have to stay on Pyro.
Yeah. So. Apparently, Bite carried them. That's what I'm reading right there. For Carnage versus Epsilon, that was sorry. So yeah, was that the only games this week? Did you have any games, Cadus, this week? You played them all last. No, you lost to Epsilon. Got trashed by Epsilon, didn't you?
Yeah, we got shown by Epsilon. We had Zebasay as a Merc though, so there you go.
That'd be why. Understandable. Then we don't even need to cover any more of that. Yeah.
Exactly.
So that means, in the grand scheme of things, that if we're looking at the ETF2L tables, Infused are first, then Epsilon, then Clan, and in fourth is Yo-Yo Tech. So we'll see Yo-Yo Tech versus Clan in the first round of effectively the quarterfinals of the playoffs. And then we'll then see them play against the winner of that game, play against Epsilon. The winner of that game play against Infused. So. If I was going to predict, I think Yo-Yo Tech will upset Clan, lose to Epsilon, and
Go on, say it. Go on. You know you want to.
Pick Gravel Pit. That's what you need to do.
So that's what I think is going to happen. Why do you guys go for it?
Yeah, I think you got it right. Epsilon winning though at the end.
Yeah, Epsilon will win at the end. Probably 2-1.
So you're not going to back Clan to beat Yo-Yo Tech, or are you going to...
I want to. How are map picks working? Is it map elimination?
Yeah, it's map elim first.
So have you done the maps for your game?
No, not yet.
I want to say Clan will win because I like them, but just based on form. I reckon it'll be like a 3-map affair, though.
I think it'll be a 3-map affair. I think they'll be expecting and ready for you come next game.
Yeah.
But yeah, it would be good. I'm really looking forward to that game, actually. And then, of course, our final will be a little bit after that. And I think that's pretty much it for this upcoming week, is just those 2 games, really. There aren't actually... Actually, I take that back. Are there any Prem Div 1 playoff games?
I don't think so. Not looking at the tables. It's all just auto promotion, auto relegation.
Yeah, but doesn't the team that's third play against the team that was third last as well?
Nope. Well, what would be the point? Because the team that's third last in Prem is Carnage, and they folded. So.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Carnage will just default it. It's going to be interesting to see if Tryharders, like, what happened, because I don't know how many players they're changing, but from the sounds of it, they're changing a lot. It'll be interesting to see if they're allowed to stay in Prem, if that makes sense. Like, if they're regarded as still in Prem, or if they're regarded as a new team, depending on roster changes.
I think it depends on the amount of roster changes they have. If you have over 3, I think you get don't have your permanent position, and you have to relook at it again. I'm not 100%.
I'm pretty sure it will be over 3.
Yeah, so hijack rule, I think it comes into effect with that. I'm not 100% though. So I doubt they will still be in Prem next season. I think what we'll see this new Bytes team, the new TCM, if they do decide to stick together going in there, and then we'll see Equilibrium, UV, if UV want to play. I assume they will, because it's
Yes,
Prem.
I think UV want to play now.
Okay. And then last we'll see probably Deserto. I think they have to go by... It depends how many roster changes, if anything happens to Deserto, really. But I think the ETF2 admin team have to go by the current ETF2 tables. They can't go into the next season and go, oh, it's a toss up between Deserto, Quarantine, and Punchline, when Deserto have proven that they're better than their teams. Yeah. So I think it's going to be that. Whether that's healthy for some of those teams or not, I don't know. But that's just what I'm going to say. I think that's pretty much it. I actually have one more thing, little mini announcement / announcement from Quinn about his BOA. He messaged me earlier in the week about something pretty secretive that I'm not allowed to give too much information away about. But put it this way, what he said to me is that it makes me no longer skeptical about whether the land's going to happen or not. So I'm now 90% sure it's going to happen, rather than the 20 I was before. And basically, they're waiting on a potential sponsor, and if they get the sponsor, it'll be a completely different venue and all that jazz. So until they hear back from that one sponsor, they can't go and start locking stuff down. But he's guaranteed me that TF2 will be there, and whether this sponsor is there will change what other tournaments will be at the event. I can't tell you figures, I can't tell you who the sponsor is, but it's pretty awesome if it does go through. So keep your eyes peeled. Is that right? Yeah, whatever. For that, and that's pretty much it. Does anyone have any shout outs for this week?
No. Fuck everyone. No.
Well, while we're here, then I would like to say thank you very much to Carnage. Yes, means that we don't have to play an extra game, and that's pretty much it. I keep getting spam. There's not much else going on. No, it doesn't look like any of these. One thing I do want to point out is that this Highlander thing between Epsilon and Fuse Crack Clan, there will be a poll up later in the week with every single person of those, all 18 people, where you can choose 9 classes. So you literally have a massive poll, and you get to pick what class everyone plays. I'm going to divide the teams into 2. It's going to be 3-3-3. So it's going to be 3 of Crack Clan, 3 of Infuse, 3 of Epsilon in one team, and vice versa on the other side. And you're going to have to pick a lineup from those 9 players. You can't pick the same person, sort of thing. Well, you can pick the same person, but I'd rather you didn't. So if you had the 9, let's say it was let's say player 1 to 9. If you couldn't pick the same class for 2 people, or shouldn't pick the same class for 2 people.
Don't vote for everyone to play Pyro. Basically pick a lineup.
Pick a lineup, exactly.
For 9-man team. And please, can we put Infused on Spy? just so we can have a running commentary of them being so bad at it.
I don't know. I might have to find someone to pull a couple of Leons out of the bag. Who do I reckon will pull Leons? Anyway, let's not worry about that. That'll be up. That'll be up soon.
Dunk for Soldier.
So it should be a fun thing to do, to be honest, guys. That will happen after the ETF2 World playoff final. We're not going to interrupt anybody's practice regimes or anything with that. We're just going to wait until everything goes on. But I want to get the poll up so people can start voting and get some exposure for it. It should be pretty fun. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. I will see you guys next week. Anybody else got anything to say?
Nope.
All right, see you guys next week. Thank you very much for joining us for Pirate Radio episode 14. I say that hesitantly. I have no idea whatsoever. See you next week for the next episode.